Shh. It's that time, y'all. Time for Big Boys Boxing.
I would never let a white boy beat me. I would never let a white boy beat me.
Possible opponent.
Big right hand, he's out.
And it's over. It's over, and it's going to be a knockout victory for Joe Smith.
Kia ora team, and welcome back to Big Boys Boxing. As per usual, let me get a couple of things sorted here. Some background music running. Check this chat is working, and we can get into it shortly. Today, just some general chat. Few stories out there, but in my opinion, nothing really that important when it comes to boxing. We have a new excuse from Deontay Wilder's fans about potentially being poisoned or the water being spiked. I'll get to how that is impossible. We've got Dillian Whyte saying to Derek Chisora, you sure you want to get brutally knocked out again? So with the current situation, maybe he's not going to be able to fight Povetkin just yet, and it is what it is. So maybe there's going to be Derek Chisora versus Dillian Whyte 3. However, I did also see Alexander Usyk saying Derek Chisora can throw as much as he wants, but he's got to land. I did also see that's working. What else have I seen? Like I've reported on already, Joseph Parker's looking for a fight, and it's probably going to be against an Australian, either going to be Dempsey McKean or Lucas Brown, and it's looking like it's probably going to be Lucas Brown. They want somebody who's got a name that people will recognize. That seems more important than chasing a ranking. For me, Dempsey McKean would be a much better fight because McKean is undefeated. He has a ranking. He's younger, hungrier, and he's 6'6" southpaw. He's big like the current champions, so it would make more sense to me for Dempsey McKean, but they're also looking for someone they can make a statement knockout over, and that's definitely Lucas Brown, in my opinion. I mean, he's 41 years old. He's been brutally knocked out twice. Once by Dave Allen with a body shot, which David Higgins has neglected to mention. He says Brown's been in there with better opposition like Dillian Whyte, but doesn't mention getting knocked out by a fucking journeyman. So, they want Joe to look good. There's not potentially much money on offer, so we'd see what happens when it comes closer to the time. They're looking at maybe August, so we'll see what happens. I'm just gonna write something in the chat myself since nobody's here to test if my chat bot is working. Just checking. There's a link in the description for anybody who may like to join. I'll also pin that to the top of the chat here. Give me a sec, sort that out. There's a link there, and I'll pin it to the top. There we go. That's pinned up there, ready for anybody. I'm not in the chat room yet, but I can go and sort that out too, so if anybody wants to join. And I will get to this Deontay Wilder being spiked in just a moment. Make sure I'm in the chat, so if anyone comes in, I notice. There we go. Looks like I'm in. Yep. And over to here and sort this out just a sec, y'all. Where is it? There it is. Boom. And it's not showing that I'm in there. Great. As soon as I get it all sorted, it doesn't work. Haha. So I'll just, there we go. The chat's working. Why isn't that showing up? That's why. There we go. Sorted. Team. Turn off the intro. And we're good. Right. So, this new thing from Deontay Wilder. Well, it's not from Wilder himself. It's from apparently one of his team. Or one of his homies, close friends or something. They're saying Tyson Fury paid somebody in Team Wilder to spike their water. Now, if you know how shit works with a boxing match, a high level boxing match at least, with the Nevada State Athletic Commission, they take care of the water. It's all in sealed bottles. Nobody from either team touches it until the fighters are out in the ring and one bottle can be opened prior to the fight, right? So, in Deontay Wilder's corner, there's two people. There's Mark Breland and Jay Dees. So if someone has been paid to spike Deontay Wilder's water, it's one of those two. Right? Because nobody else has access to that water prior to the fighters being in the ring. So if Deontay Wilder was poisoned prior to him coming out to the ring, that's an internal issue. If Deontay Wilder's got snakes in his team, which he said he's gotten rid of the snakes, then that's not Tyson Fury's problem, is it? Now, also, you'll notice there's stories around that Tyson Fury refused water after the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury fight 2, right? And this is not the first time he's done it, because he doesn't want to get spiked and he doesn't want anything to show up in a post-fight drug test. He did the same thing when he fought Vladimir Klitschko. Nope, I'm not touching that water. See you later. I'm going to do my piss test first. Right, so that also comes to the fact that nothing came up in Deontay Wilder's post-fight VADA test as well. So, this guy who broke the story says, I've got proof that Deontay Wilder was spiked, right? Why say you've got proof if you're not going to show anybody? It's not proof if you're not proving it. It's still speculation. So, yet another excuse that I'm not willing to, I'm not buying it. Not at all, man. No way. Show me some evidence and yeah, sweet. I'll listen to it or entertain it to some kind of degree, but without seeing any proof, proof is not proof. If you're not showing anybody, it's speculation. You know, I could say, I've got proof that the world is flat, but fuck you all, I'm not showing you. I know I'm right. So, the rest of y'all who don't believe me can fuck off. So, man, I'm not buying it. But what is interesting is that Deontay Wilder hasn't said a goddamn thing about anything himself. The only thing I've seen him said, yes, I said I saw him said, was at the post-fight interview. He said, maybe my suit was too heavy and took my legs. He didn't say it was, but he said maybe. That's the closest thing to an excuse Deontay Wilder himself has given. Now, I think a lot of these channels are simply bringing up all these excuses to get views, because they're making the man that they're supposed to be supporting and so passionate about look like a crybaby. Even though it's not Deontay himself saying this shit, he knows about it, but he's not telling anybody to shut their head, is he? Man, it's sad. It's sad to me. We got L Dog in the chat, as well as Box. Good to have y'all in. Wilder is becoming a joke, thanks to the clowns around him. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, that's what the public is getting. That's the information we're getting. We're not getting anything from Wilder. The only thing we've had is what your king will be back. So I don't get it, man. But anyways, if anybody wants to join, there's a link there. We'll start covering some other stories. I'm just looking at boxing scene now. Oh, and if anybody would like confirmation of how the Nevada State Athletic Commission handles the water, go over to Sporting Icons channel after the stream, and he's got an exclusive interview there with Bob Arum, talking about the water and the speculation accusations, right? And Bob also explains that yes, it is defamation of character, but what's the point of taking the guys to court who are coming out with these stories? Because you might win the case, but all you'll get out of it is what it costs to buy a carton of cigarettes, because that's all they got. So it's a waste of time. Now, he also mentioned something along the lines of, back in the day before the internet was around, newspapers would be very hesitant to print stories like this on pure speculation, because it damages the newspaper's reputation. Now, the people who are coming out with these stories don't give a flying fuck about their reputation, obviously. They're just after views. That's all it is. So, yeah, back to boxing scene and some current stories. There's another one come out. Tyson Fury says he got a call from somebody in Mike Tyson's team about him being the opponent for an exhibition match, and Tyson has accepted. He said he would take it. But there's another couple of guys, Evander Holyfield, him and Tyson's team are talking. There's also who was the other one? Shannon Briggs. Mike Tyson's team have given Shannon Briggs a number that they want to be able to make for charity. Apparently the number's there. I think it's more realistic that Mike will either fights Evander Holyfield or Shannon Briggs in this exhibition match. And let's face facts, it's an exhibition match. It's not going to be two guys trying to kill each other. This ain't the movies. This ain't the Rocky movie where Apollo Creed comes back in an exhibition match against that fucking Russian and it ends up being a I'll murder you fight. It's not going to be like that. This is the real world. So I expect either Shannon Briggs or Holyfield 3. I wouldn't mind seeing Shannon Briggs in that fight, to be honest. Now this story here, Usyk smiles. Chisora can throw all he wants. He needs to land, and that is a fact. You can't win a fight by throwing shitloads of punches if you ain't hitting nothing. You don't get points for hitting air. So it looks like Usyk is keen for this fight to happen, but in all reality, I don't think a fight like that is going to happen in the near future with the current COVID-19 situation in their respective countries. I mean, Usyk never fights in his own country anyway. He's always fought in everybody else's backyard, and it was scheduled to be at the O2 in London. But it may have to go somewhere else. And there's also another one here. It says promoter Otto Wallen can be ready in the near future for White or Joshua. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Where is Otto Wallen from? Is he Swedish? Can't fucking remember. Remembering like a sieve these days. Old fart. Yes, that's me. So yeah, interesting. We'll see who Dillian Whyte's gonna face. There was a period there just before lockdown. He was training in a secret location in some other country apparently. So I don't know. I think he's back in the UK now, and I don't think it's possible for him to leave. I think the airports and borders are all shut and shit. As far as I know, anyway. What the fuck they talking about? Nedstar. You're new to the channel here, brother. UK, yeah. Yeah, maybe I'll have a look into that story. I just read the title. Where is it? I lost it now. Otto Wallen is a pretty good opponent for anybody sort of like from number 5 to number 30. I think he's a solid, good chin boxer. He's hungry and he's on a pretty high confidence level at the moment after his performance against Tyson Fury, even though he lost. And I think many are of the same opinion. Maybe he was a bit underrated, but we didn't really know how good Otto Wallen was because he had fought nobody prior to Tyson Fury. And also, you know, Tyson Fury at that point in time, after fighting Tom Schwartz, who he beat in 2 rounds, he actually had a more solid resume than Otto Wallen coming into the fight. He had at least beaten Adrian Granat, who was a blue chip prospect at one stage until he got knocked out by Alexander Dimitrenko. Otto Wallen had fought absolutely nobodies as far as I remember. So we'll just have a quick listen to the story. Computer Ho, let's go. Where is it?
Promoter Otto Wallen can be ready in near future for White Joshua. Heavyweight contender Otto Wallen is hoping to get back in the ring by the late summer. Wallen raised his level last September when he came very close to a stoppage victory over current WBC world champion Tyson Fury. Fury suffered severe cuts during the fight and was bleeding profusely. Because the cuts came from legal punches, if the ringside doctor stopped the fight it would have given Wallen a TKO win. But the fight was allowed to continue until the end, with Fury winning a 12-round unanimous decision. Wallen was set to return back in March against former WBA champion Lucas Brown, as part of a Showtime televised card from Las Vegas. Even before that card was cancelled due to the coronavirus pandemic, Wallen withdrew from the bout with a foot injury. It wasn't long before Wallen was dealing with symptoms of the COVID-19 virus. Currently he's fully recovered, feeling healthy, and mentally ready to return to the ring.
Ty-ho. I thought it was Abdi Dubdaev that Lucas Brown was going to be fighting, and that fight got cancelled. Maybe that was after Wallen got injured. But yeah, looking at the rest of the story, I don't want to listen to Computer Ho today. So Otto Wallen had coronavirus, but he's recovered and ready to go. So that's good news. And he's itching for a fight. So I don't know if he'll get the Dillian Whyte fight. I think if Dillian's going to fight somebody in the near future, it's probably going to be Derek Chisora again. And we're going to get the same result as the last fight, in my opinion. Not the one before. Dillian's mentally prepared. He knows what he's going to have to deal with Derek Chisora again. And you know what? I don't think Derek Chisora gives a shit if he gets knocked out again. He just wants to come to fight. He's that kind of guy. He's not the kind of guy who's chasing titles or anything like that. If it comes, it comes, for sure. I mean, like, if he can get to fight Alexander Usyk and he can beat him, he's mandatory for the WBO. So, if it comes, it comes. But the bigger the payday, the bigger the attraction for Derek Chisora. Dillian White needs chance. Not sure what that means there, Abdul. Maybe I need to look back. Otto Wallen can't punch. What makes you say that? He sure busted up Tyson Fury's eye pretty well, and that was with a punch. He slowed down Tyson Fury as well. He's got no heart. Well, he went the distance with the current WBC world champion, and he'd never fought anybody of that caliber prior to that. I think that speaks volumes for his heart, man. I can't see why you say he's got no heart. But feel free to elaborate. Man, anybody's welcome to talk. There's a link at the top there. You can jump on here and come and have your say instead of waiting for me to try and respond to the chat. I'm not the best with reading the chat. I'm like the worst multitasker on earth. So when I'm trying to talk, it's hard for me to concentrate on reading and talking at the same time. All boxers got heart. Yeah, that's more like it. I agree there, Nedster. Professional boxers that are inside the top 100, they've got to have heart just to get in the freaking ring to start with. I'm sure there's going to be guys who get hit and decide to fight more defensively and survive, and maybe they do have a bit less heart than others, but I respect every boxer who has the balls to get in the ring. Otto is weak. Okay, man, he's weak. He's got no heart. Explain why. Because you're not making any sense just saying he's weak. He's got no heart. Have you seen something to suggest that he's got no heart? Have you seen something to suggest that he's weak? He looked pretty strong to me against Fury. Stronger than I thought he was. 6'5" southpaw. He obviously can punch a bit. I'll go and look at his box rec to refresh my memory. Otto Wallen box rec. Here we go. So I'll put this on screen so y'all can check it out too. Right. There's a lot of this going around lately. You know, a fighter takes one loss and fans tend to just decide to disregard them, throw them in the rubbish. They must be useless if they take one loss. Like Adam Kovnarski, people have totally disregarded him now because Robert Helenius beat him. Now, Robert Helenius has always had a great punch, but he's had troubles with issues and troubles with stamina. But if he catches you, it's gonna fucking hurt. Now, Adam Kovnarski, if he came back tomorrow, as long as he's fighting somebody who doesn't move a lot, somebody who doesn't counterpunch really well, he's gonna beat them. I mean, an example, like, I think Andy Ruiz and Adam Kovnarski is a good fight, but I think Ruiz would get the better of him because he has defense. When it comes to offense, they're both very similar, besides Andy Ruiz being quicker, right? They both got concrete in their boots. But Andy throws a lot more, Andy throws more effective punches because he has defense between. He doesn't just throw willy-nilly and hope he doesn't get hit. But we're talking about Otto Wallin here anyway. Otto Wallin. Alright? If he can't punch, he wouldn't have any knockouts, right? It's got 59% KO ratio, which isn't great. Being honest, it isn't great, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have any power. He's a heavyweight, and last time out, what did he weigh? 254 pounds, right? Anybody who's 254 pounds and throws a punch, hits you flush on the chin, it's probably going to hurt you. Nick Kisner, yeah, I know him. Oh, it was Adrian Granat. Shit, I thought it was Tom Schwartz who beat him. No, it was Otto Wallin. Yeah, I get them mixed up. The Swedish boys. Okay. Adrian Granat. Yeah. And from what I heard before this fight, Otto Wallin didn't want Adrian Granat until he saw Dimitrenko knock Granat out. Okay? And then all of a sudden Otto Wallin wanted to fight. And then, hello? He beat him. Over 12. So, yeah, maybe he doesn't have the biggest punch, but there's no way I'm going to say he has no power. Because I'm damn sure if he punched me in the face, I'll be flat on my ass for a week. You know? I don't like it when people are so disrespectful of people in the ring who have the balls to get in there and get paid for our entertainment. Hey. Let me get back to the chat. But I think Otto Wallin is a solid opponent. For most. I think Dillian White would beat him. I think Derek Chisora would probably beat him as well, but I think it's still a pretty decent matchup. I think Otto Wallin should be fighting guys like Adi Dabdayev or Sergey Kuzmin. You know, some solid opponents to boost his resume, and then maybe he would be more realistic being considered as an opponent for somebody like Dillian White, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, all of those kind of guys. But for now, I don't think a loss and a pretty decent performance is solid enough to get him into those fights realistically. AA Boxing and Blunts in the house. Good to have you in, brother. It's hard to get a proper game on. Yeah, exactly. Boxing. Hello. How are you doing, Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio?
Oh yeah, I was just messing about, mate. I didn't mean to come on live. Just a
Oh wow. Yeah, here.
Well, I was trying to get on live, but I've been unsuccessful in the past, so I was I wasn't really anticipating success this time, and I just accidentally must have pressed the right button.
I changed something on the invite that it gives people temporary membership or something, and maybe that's helped or something. I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe I was just pressing button. How you doing, big boys?
Not too bad, not too bad. Weather's a bit crappy down here today. We're just moving into autumn. Finally getting some rain. We're on water restrictions in the city here. Our dams are down to like 25% capacity, waiting for winter. So
damn.
Keep on
just
raining.
Coming into. Yeah, we're having a little mini heat wave. It's like sunny every day, almost every day since the COVID-19 hit. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, well, it's like exact opposite side of the globe for you to here.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that it's the exact opposite weather.
Yeah, welcome though. It's welcome, very welcome.
Indeed. So have you seen Dillian White talking about asking Derek Chisora if he wants to brutally get knocked out again? So do you think a third fight may be on the cards?
What is Povetkin? Is Povetkin out of the mix?
Well, I'm not sure how long it's going to be before they can fight, with him being in Russia and Dillian being in the UK, and if there's something that they want to do in the meantime, it'll probably have to be without a crowd over there, but I'm sure people would still want to watch it since we've all been deprived of boxing.
Yeah, that would be. I'd be disappointed if it turned out that Povetkin fight was off. That would be disappointing. But yeah, boxing without a crowd, it's not beyond the realms of possibility by any means, is it?
Yeah, well, I guess it maybe depends on how long this pandemic's going to last. You know, there's plenty of boxing fans out there that'd be pretty desperate to see anything and everything if they possibly can by this stage. And if, like I was saying, if that Povetkin and White fight can't happen for another 3 months, then maybe they want to get something going in the meantime. And without a crowd, you know, there's going to be that gate for big fights that the promoters are going to want to be able to pay the fighters. So, you know, are the fighters willing to take pay cuts just to get in the ring?
In the ring, yeah, Chisora, White. Well, but of the upcoming fights that we've heard about so far, that would be the best of them, wouldn't it? Really?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, there's not going to be much buzz for Wok versus Johnson in a couple of weeks, is there? So
I'm not watching that.
I might watch it, but I certainly won't be paying for it. Put it that way.
Oh, exactly. So, of the COVID-19 fights without audiences, then yeah, that would be the best one we've heard of so far.
Yeah, for sure.
Although obviously we don't want that, but you know,
beggars can't be choosers.
Beggars can't be choosers, and it's going to be an awkward time. I mean, there's going to be a lot of boxers who say, "No, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight without an audience." But got to fight without an audience. It's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's going to be fights without audiences, and why not have the best fights we can get under those circumstances?
Well, yeah. I mean, there is the other side of the coin. If big fights are gonna be pay-per-view, maybe they'll push the price up $10 or something to cover what they miss out on the gate or something like that. And you know, people will pay for it. I don't know how many will. Maybe they should drop the price $10 to get more people to buy it or something like that. To make up the difference.
Yeah. I mean, in the UK, we're at 20. What was it? 20? Up to 25. Went up to £25 for Joshua and Ruiz. And what happened? Yeah. Fury Wilder followed suit. They were £25. I don't know why, but anyway. So yeah, maybe they'll slap an extra $5 on, but then you have to look at the depression as well. You have to look at people having been out to work for the last how many weeks? Is it 6 weeks? 8 weeks? I don't know. Well, 6-7 weeks. Yeah, some people 2 months. So I mean, can the market withstand more money on the PPVs?
That's a good point. Yeah, there's a lot of people who would like to buy it but simply can't because they've got to worry about surviving rather than watching what they love. So
yeah, exactly. It's a game of survival. People have to pay their bills, mortgages, rents, food.
Yeah.
The only thing that people aren't paying much of these days is diesel and petrol, you know, because nobody's going anywhere.
Yeah. How are things going over there with COVID-19? Is the curve on the down now? You guys
yeah, I'm not the best person to ask because I don't really keep track of the stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
And it's as far as I know, we're still in it. There's some rumblings of I think it's been I think the rules are being slightly relaxed about people going to work, but only very slightly. So it's still very much in effect here. There's some return to work. There's a little.
Oh, you dropped out there, brother.
Oh,
There
you hear
go.
me? 1 2 1 2. You hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So there's a little, very tiny trickle back to work. But it's very, very tiny. Very small fraction returning to work on the government regulations. Certain people going back to certain jobs, certain spacing.
Yeah.
But I noticed the supermarket workers aren't dying.
Interesting. The worst of it's healthcare workers, isn't it, over there?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that my local supermarket and whatnot. Every time I go, it's the same people there, and they're not dying. They're not wearing masks.
Okay. Did they have like screens, perspex screens up?
Very recently, last couple of weeks.
Oh shit! Really? Wow.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is they're not dying. So it's kind of interesting. They're not wearing masks and they're not dying. And they're working with people close up every day. So, it's kind of
Interesting.
It's very curious.
I've kind of been focused on what's happening in my own country, so I don't know too much about everywhere else. Maybe I should do some more research.
Well, I mean, the rules in America is you have to wear a mask to go into a store.
Okay.
Over here, like maybe 30% of people wearing masks, maybe 40% recently.
Okay, and from what I understand, the mask isn't going to stop you getting COVID-19, but if you already have it, it's going to stop you spreading it.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so most of our retailers here have had perspex screens for at least 3 weeks. The supermarkets have had them for over 8 weeks. So,
relatively last 3 weeks over here, I would say the last 3 weeks, the perspex screen.
Okay. Yeah, and all the workers are wearing masks and gloves and whatnot. But tomorrow we're getting released for gatherings are allowed to be up to 100 people as of tomorrow. And we only have 22 active cases of COVID-19 in the country now. So we just about won the war.
Yeah, very low.
So maybe we can get something going down here with a real boxing event, but by the sounds of it, there's nothing planned until August at the very earliest.
Yeah.
So, some of us are gonna have to watch these pay-per-view events that are very low level if we desperately want to watch boxing, and for some of us that means maybe missing a meal or two, which sucks.
Yeah. There it goes.
All right. So I've missed your last couple of shows. Been a bit busy with kids and whatnot. So, what's your opinion of this new excuse about Deontay Wilder being spiked with the water? Is there much to it, you think?
Spiking of the water. Well, apparently, the story goes, Tyson Fury paid one of Deontay's, or one or more of Deontay Wilder's entourage in a circle. He paid them to spike Wilder's water.
Yeah.
Interesting, because Deontay has spoken about snakes. Oh, if one of these snakes was the recipient of Tyson Fury's bribe, maybe there's a correlation. Maybe that's what he's talking about. He was talking about the snakes.
Possibly. Now, I remember not long after the fight, there was something mentioned about Deontay being spiked somehow. But I don't know if you've seen it. I saw a interview yesterday from Sporting Icons with Bob Arum, and he was talking about the procedures that the Nevada State Athletic Commission goes through with the water. The actual fight water, that's all in sealed bottles, and nobody from either team can touch that until the fighters are in the ring. So, if it was spiked from the water provided by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, it could only be one of two people, being Jay Diaz and Mark Breland. So I haven't heard anything about him firing Mark Breland. I'm pretty sure he thinks he's a snake since he threw in the towel, or he took instructions from Anthony Durrell to throw the towel.
Yeah. The instructions from the crowds. Yeah. So who was the snake that spiked Deontay Wilder? We have to say that Deontay Wilder himself has not said that he was spiked. It was some supporters, associate supporters who have come up with a claim. It would be interesting to see the toxicology report to support the allegation that he was spiked.
Yeah, well,
so presumably he went to the doctors. He went to the doctor's hospital, and he received a toxicology report, which would substantiate the claim. Indeed.
And you'd think there'd also be something come up in the post-fight drug test if there was something in there. And there's been nothing from VADA on that. So
there's nothing from VADA on that yet, but we'll have to, questions will be have to ask VADA. Was there, what foreign substances were found in the post-fight tests?
Indeed.
Surely that would show up.
Surely, and he would have the results, and if there is results with something in the that report, why not publicize it? If it's already been put out there that there is proof, why not show it? Because it's not actually proof until it's been shown to somebody, is it?
Yeah. Well, obviously we're going to have to be we're going to be waiting that to substantiate the claim. We need this claim to be substantiated.
Indeed.
And it will be easily substantiated because he was tested post-fight. They have post-fight tests, so that will be easy to substantiate. So bring it on, release the papers.
Interesting. The comment from Nedstone here says nothing was found. It's all hearsay. So I'm wondering, have you seen the toxicology report? I got it.
Yeah. I have not seen it. I'm very eager. I'm very eager to see it to substantiate the claim, because right now it's just speculation. Right now it's another allegation. But in order for it to be substantiated, like I said, we need to see the paperwork. So I eagerly await the paperwork, and I'd happily publish it if it is forthcoming.
Well, definitely. And if there's also proof that it was somebody from the Fury camp paid to do it, well, that person's going to go to jail. They should go to jail, because that's making the fight not fair. And I'm all against, no matter whether it's the guy I like or the guy I dislike getting done wrong. Fair's got to be fair, otherwise somebody's got to pay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All good. Yeah. All right, so there was also another story the other day from Mauricio Solomon, not willing to push Dillian White's title shot forward if Deontay Wilder's too injured to continue with a rematch. You heard about this as well? I think I saw you did a video on that one.
Yeah, I did a video on that one, did a second one, but I forgot to spell it, which is most unfortunate.
Okay. I didn't read too much into that one, so would you like to give us a quick rundown on it?
Well, Suleiman was asked if since Wilder's injured.
You dropped off again there, brother.
Oh, I dropped off again. Damn, that's strange.
Got to Wilder's injured.
Yeah, well, the question was posed: since Wilder is injured, then why not make Fury v White? You could do it both, etc. I mean, traveling involved, etc., etc. I mean, is that something you consider? And Suleiman basically said, well, no. Dillian is mandated. His mandatory comes into his mandatory fight starts from the 21st of February, February 2021.
Yeah.
And so, there's a contract in place between Wilder and Fury, and that contract stands. We'll go.
Interesting. So I wonder what's going to happen if the Wilder versus Fury fight gets delayed until sometime around February. Does that mean the winner is going to be mandated directly after the fight? I hope so.
Well, that would be great, wouldn't it? That would be great. What would they do? I mean, the WBC has shown no overwhelming desire to put White in a title fight. Even though, I think he's been the most worthy of a title fight in the WBC in the last 2-3 years.
Yeah.
But they've not. They're showing very little inclination. It's going to be interesting who is the priority after the third fight, because we want the fourth fight.
Yeah. Well, if Wilder wins that third one, which I don't think is going to happen, that's definitely going to be a fourth fight. But
Yes.
if that happens, I can see Deontay Wilder taking the WBC to court for sure.
Dillian Whyte,
What was that? Sorry.
You said you could see Deontay Wilder taking the WBC to court. I think you meant Dillian Whyte taking them to court.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely, 100%. I've seen an article where he states that the court, it's coming to the stage now where court action seems like the
Yeah, well, I guess it's a matter of hurry up and wait and see. So
yeah.
it is
Gonna
what it
happen.
is.
It's a tough situation for Dillian, but I think Wilder's clearly being protected. My book is clearly being protected for Dillian by the WB.
Yeah, it certainly seems that way. But we've talked about that plenty over the last 3 years. So yeah.
Many times.
Okay, so we'll move on to another one. It looks like Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce is still scheduled for the 11th of July. Hopefully that's still going to happen, because that'll be one of the biggest fights that'll happen this year, I think. I was saying, I don't think Wilder Fury is going to happen this year. I'm skeptical whether even Joshua Pulev's going to happen. Not that that's a fight that anybody's clamoring to see, but the fact is it's still a big fight. But yeah, Daniel Dubois and Joe Joyce. That was also another one that the pay-per-view price had apparently been pushed up following suit of Joshua Ruiz, isn't it, as well, from Frank Warren?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, not to popular review.
Yeah,
I'm very happy with that.
No, well, it may be the new norm, unfortunately, for you guys in the UK.
Yeah, this was pre-COVID though, so now post-COVID, or when we do get to post-COVID, then looks like prices. There's going to be prices are going to be top. Dubois v Joyce, very much looking forward to it. Great to know that it's still on so far as we speak. Hope it remains so. What's the date? What's the date of it?
11th of July.
May, June, July, 2 months from now.
Still possible.
Was that the O2? The O2
Uh,
Arena? I think it was the O2 Arena.
I think it was.
The
I'll
O2
just go
Arena.
back and have a look.
Yeah.
British
O2 Arena.
Boxing Control.
It'll be very interesting either way because I still don't see them turn into full crowds
No, not at all.
at all. Away, no.
It doesn't actually have a registered venue anymore.
Okay.
It
Okay.
was, I'm sure it was on there as the O2 Arena before, so
Yeah.
maybe if they're not having a crowd, they may put it in a smaller venue. There's no point in having a big arena if they've got no
Yeah.
crowd, is there?
Yeah, a big arena and no. Well, do you go with a bigger arena? Well, there's no crowd. Full stop. Because, yeah, even if they returned to very small crowds, what would that be, like 50 people or something? So either way, it would make any sense to have it in the O2.
They could just put it in BT Sports Studio with a ring in there, couldn't they? Wouldn't make any difference.
Yeah. Eddie Hearn's gone for the more scenic route. He's got it in the garden background, so it's going to be somewhat more scenic than a TV studio. I don't know if Frank Warren is gonna pull out a little surprise, maybe have it on a warship or something like that, floating through
Wouldn't that be
wherever. Yeah, he's
Well,
gonna think outside, have it on a warship or something.
Yeah. There's also technology these days. They could put a ring in front of a green screen and then put whatever they want in the background.
That is true. That is true.
Sucker us
I like, yeah, but I like the warship. I like the warship idea.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool to me.
Yeah.
And there's no chance of anybody, crowds trying to gather outside to try and take a look if they put it outside the harbour or something.
Exactly. Have it on a warship, floating somewhere.
Be a world record first, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very
So yeah, looking forward to it. Who do I think is going to win? I think it's very tight, and I wouldn't be surprised if the man won. I mean, I don't think there's going to be a shock winner. I do favor Dubois. I do have him as my favorite, but in no way writing off Joe Joyce, because this is both of these guys know that this is an extremely important fight for both of them.
Definitely. I've got it going one of two ways. I've got Daniel Dubois knockout in 6, or I've got Joe Joyce on points or late stoppage if it goes past 6.
Yeah.
That volume, I think, could be a real problem for Dubois if he can't get him out of there.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. So
That's what I mean.
it's a great fight.
Great fight. Joyce keeps on going. Dubois has got a lot of power, but then Joyce has got power.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating fight. It really is.
Yeah. I'd put it like Dubois has the snapping power and Joyce has like the thudding power.
Yeah. But to be honest, I think Dubois is kind of thudding as well. So I think he's got thudding power, but with more snap.
Yeah. It gets more thudding the longer it goes because he has it not as sharp with his stamina. But who knows? Preparing for such an important fight like that, he might come into the ring with great stamina. He might come in a bit leaner and a bit faster and a bit more endurance. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Fascinating.
Definitely. I just address a comment I saw in the chat earlier from Get the Smoke. He says WBC protecting Wilder from White, and then lots of laughing emojis. I don't think it's simply protecting him from White. I think he's been protected since he's been champion for a long time. The installed mandatories speaks for itself.
Low caliber opposition.
Well,
itself.
Yeah. Oh, for voluntaries, he's quite entitled to pick who he wants, and within the WBC's top 10 according to their rules, not top 15. So, you know, you can't knock him for voluntaries if he wants to get easier fights to hang on to his belts, but the WBC installing Bermane Stiverne as mandatory after he controversially beats, was it Derek Rossi? It was Derek, I think. Rossi knocked him down in the first round after,
Right.
you know,
Yeah, that's right.
I thought that was
Right.
at least a draw, but they still
Yeah.
turn around and put him in at mandatory. That's protection. Putting
I think-
Dominic
I think he-
Brazil in there as well as mandatory. I know they're probably legally obligated because Brazil was going to take them to court, but Brazil should never have got a shot at Stiverne in the first place for the mandatory spot. So,
Absolutely not.
you know,
Absolutely not.
that's
I don't think that-
that's the point of protection that I'm talking about anyway.
That's what I'm talking about as well.
Yeah, not necessarily just protecting from White. I mean, yeah, White, for me, possibly could have been mandatory earlier if he had have taken fights, but at the time and the situation, he wanted it there and now, so he took other routes, and you know, but them pushing his mandatory shot back after he was cleared from this from that adverse finding situation, I didn't like that one bit.
He's supposed to be reinstated.
He
And
was- yeah.
the WBC said he was cleared, he would be reinstated, but he was not. He was reinstated, and the difference.
And they put Tyson Fury in there after what? A draw with Deontay Wilder and hadn't fought any other WBC sanctioned fights.
Correct.
You know?
Correct. Yeah.
So it mounts up.
Was-
Mauricio Solomon, for me, has killed his father's legacy. Ever since Jose dipped out and Mauricio's taken over, the WBC belt, listen, El Jefe, if you're out there, the WBC belt is no longer the most coveted title on the planet. That was before you were born, El Jefe.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That way anymore. It's definitely been tarnished.
Yeah. Yep. Totally. All right. Next story. What are we gonna look at? Alexander Usyk says Derek Chisora can throw as much as he likes, but he has to land. What do you make of that comment?
Right, isn't it? You can't score any points if you're not landing. So he's right on a technical level, but Derek Chisora is known to throw upstairs, downstairs. Catch Usyk with something. You know what I'm saying? If it's not upstairs, I mean, Usyk is very good at getting out of the way.
Yeah. There's a couple of issues that I've noticed with Derek Chisora. He has problems with guys who can move. You know, look what David Haye did to him. David Haye at the time had a bit of power as well that he could put behind his movement. So that was like the optimal fight style for beating Derek Chisora. But we saw him have real trouble against Ajit Cabell as well when he lost that fight in Monaco. When Dillian boxed and moved a bit more in the second fight, he saved his energy so he had power later on, but he was moving and boxing, and when the opportunity came, when Derek slowed down after throwing so many punches, night. So I don't think Usyk can hit quite as hard as Derek Chisora, but if he doesn't get tagged a lot and he accumulates a lot, I think he's certainly got a possibility of stopping Chisora as well. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, Usyk clearly favourite. I do fancy that he will beat. There to beat Derek Chisora. People will expect him to beat Derek Chisora, since he's the prince apparent, or considered by many to be the heir to the throne. So clearly, is the large favorite to Chisura's route to winning. I don't think he will. Tucked Joe Fraser style head movement and hooks to the head and body and tie up. He's got to tie Usyk up along the rope. He's got to make it. He's got to make it ugly. Got to make it ugly.
Well, lean on him too while he's tying him up.
Tie him up, lean on him, trip him up. It's got to make it a very uncomfortable, unconventional fight. I would say unconventional and ugly. It's got a rough
different
look.
Size, but something like what Salido did to Lomachenko.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. That's got to be the. Well, for me anyway, that's my recipe. That's my route to victory for Chisora. Is he going to win? Highly unlikely, but I think that's his best bet. Step on his toes, trip him up, bundle him, a lot of grappling, a lot of him on the ropes. Do your work on the ropes. Catch him on the ropes, where it's harder to slip away. Yeah, make it very, very untidy.
One thing that many kind of forget about is Alexander Usyk actually is taller and has a longer reach than Derek Chisora. He's the same size as David Haye, isn't he? So if Usyk puts on a little bit of extra weight, he could have a bit more power, but it could also be detrimental to his movement. And like you say, if Derek gets him up against the ropes and beats the shit out of his body, he could be in some real trouble real quick. And like Nedsta said in the chat, I wouldn't exactly be surprised if Derek Chisora won. I wouldn't be that surprised at all. It's still a pretty good fight for me, but I'm still favouring Usyk at about 65 to 35, around that. So I have it at 70-30 in favour of Usyk. There you go. All good. What else do we have in the news at the moment? Oh, DAZN's in trouble. That's a big one, and it's kind of to be expected with the current situation. There's not a lot of content that they have that's backed up that they can show, like Matchroom has, or PBC or Top Rank. They can replay a lot of the fights that they've got, but DAZN doesn't have a lot of them. They're obviously going to be in trouble more than any other network because they're new. But, it is what it is, man. The owner of the company is looking at possibly selling off parts of the company, or possibly the whole company, to try and save it. So there could be a decent investment for somebody if we come out of this COVID, if they buy at the right time when we're coming out of this pandemic. But, so you got many thoughts behind that? Not really.
What I've heard, what I've read, that they are looking. I have a slightly different take on it. Last year, they were looking at, and it was reported, many people spoke on it, that DAZN were looking for investments.
Yep.
This is still part of the same process.
It's just enhanced at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah. So the investments they were looking for last year, still part of that process. They're still looking for investments. I think some people might think that they got some investments last year and they're looking for more this year. No, this is part of the same thing. They're looking for investment. They're looking for, I think, I read 500 million, whatever it was, dollars, whatever, in investors. New company, well, relatively new, breaking into relatively new. I don't think it's entirely uncommon for these large companies to look for investment.
Yep.
I don't think it's uncommon. I don't think it's unusual. under these circumstances, under the COVID-19 era situation. Yeah.
It is it is what it is, to be honest, really, isn't it? We're just going to have to wait and see what happens, but I certainly won't be subscribing to DAZN at the moment. And I guess there's a lot of people who are already subscribed who won't be renewing at the moment as well, and that's what's causing the damage.
At the moment. Supposed to be rolling out in a lot of territories. Are supposed to be rolling also around this time, but obviously that's going to have to be postponed because there's nothing to see.
Exactly. Yeah, it was supposed to be here in New Zealand. I heard it was supposed to be in the UK and Ireland and sometime in May, around Cinco de Mayo, when Canelo was supposed to be fighting Saunders. So that's off. So the launch will be off, and we'll wait and see. I just stumbled across a story here that says Munguia has a good chance of knocking out Golovkin. So maybe that fight's going to be made, coming out the other side as well. I think it's not a bad fight for Munguia to be taking, considering Golovkin is aging. He's still a pretty solid contender with a great name, but it may be a step too far for Munguia as well after his last performance. What do you reckon?
Golovkin's still hanging on in there. It's got that big contract with DAZN. Seems to be happy making a lot of money. I don't see him relinquishing to Munguia just yet. Not just yet. Still looking for a fight, maybe. Is he? Not? Still some big fights out there. I don't see him checking out right now. Is he at the top of his game? No. Did we see some slippage against Derevyanchenko?
Hell yeah.
Or is that it was a slippage on his part and Derevyanchenko stepping up his game same time, making him look worse. And
we lost you again there, bro.
Yo.
You back?
I'm back. 1 2 1 2. Am I back?
Yeah. Just next time you come in, before you come in, there's a settings tab down the bottom. You might want to just go in and turn the sensitivity of your mic up a little bit. That'll be what it is, I think.
Oh, the sensitivity in
Discord.
Discord itself.
Sorry?
Discord itself.
Yeah.
But okay. Yeah, I'll have a look.
Okay. I'm looking at. I'll give. If the fight between Munguia and Golovkin happens within the next year, I think Golovkin could still beat him. That's my thoughts on it. But who knows, if Golovkin's taking a bit more of a slide, it tends to pick up speed. The older you get, the faster you slide. So by the time the fight happens, I guess we'll have to wait and see until the first bell rings before we actually know what shape Golovkin's in.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, this other one here. Hearn believes Fury will retire after after 2 fights. No, I don't think he's going to retire. Honestly, unless he loses, I could see Tyson retiring and going, I've had enough of it. But if he wins, he's going to want to fight Joshua, and who was the other fight he wanted? Dillian White. He wants to fight him too, doesn't he?
Okay. We'll be up for that. Tyson. I don't see Tyson retiring till he's 40.
Whoa. Well, he's that type of fighter who doesn't really take a lot of punishment a lot of the time because he can be so elusive. So it's definitely possible.
Yeah. Well, let me bring that down to Lennox Lewis's age. He's 38. I don't see Tyson retiring one day before he's 38, and I'll tell you why. He seems to need activity. What I think boxing has helped him regain some team, regain a sense of purpose. So yeah, I think boxing is the cornerstone of him remain mentally where he be.
Yeah.
When he went off the rails last time, it was due to inactivity, but not having a routine, not having a discipline. I think boxing keeps him disciplined, and so keeps him on the straight and narrow. I can't see him retiring in the next couple of years and just sitting around without a purpose.
Yep. Definitely understand that, and I think having an event to train for gives him that extra motivation to work harder in the gym, and the harder he works in the gym, the better off he feels in his head. So,
Yeah.
you know, if he stopped the events and just turned into a daily gym rat like Vladimir Klitschko these days, you know, he's still in the gym and still in great shape and whatnot. Without that motivation of a fight, I don't know how good he would go in the gym, you know. So
I don't think do what Vlad does. Vlad, that's just Vlad's lifestyle. But for Fury to do that, I think he needs something at the end of the rainbow. He needs to be working towards something. And so for that reason, I don't see him retiring a day before that yet.
Yep. Good point. And that's given me something to think about too. As I've often thought, you know, Tyson wants big fights and he's going to fight out this ESPN contract, maybe have 1 or 2 fights in the UK and that'll be it. But now that you put it like that, it's made me think twice. So
yeah.
Also,
I don't think he's going to be on some super stiff schedule either. I think how he's going to work it is he'll have 2 fights a year maximum. Some years just 1, and he's going to be at his own pace. 1 fight maybe every 9 months. At his own pace, he's going to be selective in who he fights. I don't think he wants any kind of murderer's row. I think he's going to be selective. I think he's mindful of conserving his body and brain health.
Yeah, and if you're at the top of the stack and you've beaten the number 2 and 3, that most people would say are number 2 and 3 already, then, you know, why would you do more than you have to do if you're doing it to maintain your mental health? So yeah,
that's how he's going to do. He's going to take it nice and easy. Oh, like when Frank Sinatra went to Vegas, you know, you're not touring, you just do your thing, nothing crazy, no touring. You know, you've got your nice little opponent there. He's not killing himself. He'll be fighting a lot of the Tom Schwartz's world. You'll just be taking it easy, like a night in Vegas, and Frank Sinatra, easy night in Vegas. I see that. I think that's how Fury's gonna prolong his career. Just certain fights, yes, lineal champion is here, fighting the number 10th ranked in the WBA. But he's very good. He's very good. Believe you me, you've never heard of him, but he's very good.
Yeah, I don't think he'll have much interest in going for a 51-0 or anything like that. So
No, just nice and easy. Just fill me out, point me in the right direction. Every 9 months, I'm good.
Yeah. All right, so I got one more story here that I'd like to have a quick look at before I start wrapping it up, and it's about our local boy Joseph Parker. As you can see on screen, Joseph Parker ring return might land in Queenstown, which is a town here in the Southern Alps of New Zealand. High tourist, it's a very expensive place to live because it's close to the mountains with the ski fields. It's got close to the west coast and the east coast of the South Island. It's a beautiful place, and it is screaming out for any type of assistance from anywhere because the whole town relies on tourism, which is dead at the moment in New Zealand. So Boxing Squared did a interview with David Higgins that covered a bit about this, and it's kind of hard to picture the event actually working down there. Like I was saying earlier, tomorrow we move to events being allowed 100 people, and I think they were talking about it possibly being viable as an event for having 100 people there. Tickets would be thousands of dollars, of course, with so little being available. But at the same time, I think by the time this may happen, and they're talking about August, September, I think in New Zealand here it's going to be pretty close to normal again. I think we'll be able to have a couple of thousand people in an arena down there. So it could be something that the government would be willing to pitch into to get a few things happening down here, and by that stage we may also be allowing people into the country from other places that are doing similar numbers with COVID-19 to us. So I suggest to anybody who wants to know more about it, shoot over to Boxing Squid's channel and check out the exclusive interview with David Higgins on the subject, and he explains the pros and the cons and how it may or may not work. Any thoughts on it there, Rafi, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, interesting. Aka, who's he fighting? Did he mention anybody?
At this stage, they're looking at two opponents. They've got Lucas Brown or Dempsey McKean, both from Australia, because they're doing the similar numbers and they'll possibly be allowed to travel here.
Okay. It'd be good to see back in the ring. Nice little run out for him. A little bit of boxing, a little bit of boxing. I'd watch that. Was that going to be pay-per-view?
Oh, it'll be pay-per-view down here for sure, mate. I mean, every Joseph Parker fight since about his 8th or 9th fight has been pay-per-view down here in New Zealand. But because he's signed to DAZN, they may even make it a small pay-per-view in the UK as well, with Matchroom. Or DAZN USA, I imagine they'd probably get it for free, because facing facts, there's not a lot of people in the US that are that interested in Joseph Parker. It's just how it is.
Yeah, it's just how it is. Yeah, I'll watch that. I said it's not gonna set the world. I'm not expecting it's gonna set the world on fire, but it's a bit of boxing. I'll watch it. Get some sporting events going.
You guys might even get it on Sky TV, just subscription based over there without any pay-per-view.
That's what I'm hoping. I was thinking, hopefully it'll be that.
Yeah.
I don't think two may take us for pay-per-view that particular fight over in the UK.
Yeah, it could be network suicide, really, if you tried. Yeah.
Gonna break even. Could be a problem.
Indeed. All right, so that's about it for us today. Big thank you for dropping in today, Rafi, even if it was unintentional. It's all good. If you haven't already, make sure you get over to Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio, subscribe, check out his channel, and one of his great shows at the moment that I'm really enjoying is he has Rick Glazer in on Wednesdays. You want to give it a plug there, mate?
Yeah, Wednesday 9 p.m. UK time every week throughout the COVID era. We're having Rick Glazer on. I think this is going to be the 7th week in a row. So, good to have Rick Glazer over on Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio every Wednesday.
Make sure you sort yourself out some questions if you're going to go over there, because Rick likes them fast.
Rick likes, I call him, what do you call it? What is it? The machine gun. Yeah, I call him Machine Gun Glazer. He just wants one after the other. Raf is sweating bullets, trying to keep him served up with questions. So definitely get your questions in over there every Wednesday at Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. And thanks for having me, Big Boys Boxing. Be sure to smash the like button. Be sure to smash the subscribe button, and keep on supporting Big Boys Boxing. I'm out.
Appreciate that, brother. Catch ya.
Yeah.
Alright then, a big shout out to everybody in the chat. L Dog in the house, Nedster, good to have you in. Saint Brit Sports. Who else we got here? Phil Carl Roberts. I saw Double A Boxing and Blunts in earlier. Adam Fahey. Everybody who's turned up to come and have a listen. Next time maybe y'all can hit the link and come for a yarn, even though there's not much to talk about at the moment. But I still appreciate every single one of you coming in and having a yarn one way or another. So that's it from me today. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Like Rafi was saying, don't forget to hit that thumbs up before you leave. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything in future. And I'll catch you next time. I'm out. See you. So that's it for today. Appreciate y'all coming and checking out the Big Boys Boxing content. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Also, if you want to get more involved, you can go to the Big Boys Boxing channel page, and over here on the top right there's this Discord icon here. If you click on that, it will take you to the Big Boys Boxing Discord server. This is it here, and these are the text channels here. The info is all about the channel and how to get involved. General chat, we all just talk about boxing, any subject, everybody's welcome. Live fight links, I drop links here that will take you to live fight events. I generally drop the link here 24 hours before the fight, so if you don't have a broadcast you can come here and find a way to watch it. Also, fights that I do record I will be posting here. I've got a couple here already, as you can see. And down here, the voice channels, live panel. If you'd like to get involved with the live YouTube streams, the panel is on here. Once you get here, you just click on live panel, and as you can see, you're in. If you'd like to mute at any point, there's a little mic icon here. Click on that and you are muted. And if you'd like to leave the call, this is your hang up button. Simple as. And down here, this is anytime chat. It's another voice channel. You can get on here and talk with anybody who's in there about whatever you want to talk about. It's free for all. So get involved. I'm Jono from Big Boys Boxing, and I will catch you next time. See you!